Hey everyone, welcome back to Something Genuine. I'm Tweak, as usual, your host, and I'm really grateful that you're spending some time with us today. If you are new to Something Genuine, the goal here is to really have real conversations with real people, to not really focus on headlines or going viral or having hot takes or anything like that, just to get to know and appreciate the people that are behind the work that you guys love. Today's guest, I'm so excited to bring her out. She is a voice actor, but she does screen acting as well, and she's involved in all sorts of different things. Fans of gaming and anime will know her from a wide range of roles over the years, but maybe most recently for her role in Marvel Rivals. But behind that impressive resume, there's also just a huge passion about telling stories, and I am so excited to introduce her. She's also known as for roles as Caesar King in Zenless Zone Zero, as Tamaki Iwato in Suzume, one of my favorite films, as Sirius in ReZero, and as I mentioned, White Fox in Marvel Rivals. So we're going to talk about her background in El Paso, her Korean American identity, finding her place in the entertainment industry, and so much more in today's episode. Please welcome Jennifer Sunbell. Hi, Jennifer. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me.
What's up? Hey, Charles. Thank you so much for having me. I'm outside, everyone. I'm outside.
Yeah, I love it. Like you've got the nice weather out there in Southern California. We're It's just heat here in Texas. It's not.
Oh man.
If I go outside right now, it's just gonna be like, oh.
We're in June gloom, so it's a little bit overcast this morning, so it's like kind of perfect. It'll get hot later though, for sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's early still, so that's really great. Well, yeah, I'm so happy that you're joining me today. Like as I mentioned before we got on the air, when I was so actually you were suggested to me. I put a call out there like, what voice actors should we talk to on our series here? And someone mentioned you, and I was like, oh yeah.
Cool. Thank you, whoever did that.
Yeah, so I wanted to do some research, and what was this really cool connecting point between us is that we're both half Korean and we're both from El Paso originally. And I just thought that was it's really interesting. I think people who are not from here, or even in other parts of Texas, they don't realize this, that there's a surprisingly kind of strong Korean population that lives in El Paso.
Yeah.
I mean, how long were you in West Texas?
So I was born there. And then the first couple of years, so I was born at Beaumont Hospital, which
same here, right?
So crazy at Fort Bliss.
Yeah.
So I was born there, and then the first couple years of life, we were, I don't know exactly because so little, but we were in El Paso, and then we went to go visit like my grandfather, because my grandfather on my dad's side is from Detroit. So we'd be up there for a little bit, but basically up until kindergarten we were stationed in El Paso for 5 years. No, let me check that out. I'm trying to remember. Okay,
yeah, so it's all blur when it's like,
especially when you're in the when you grow up in the military, it's like wait a minute. So I was there until about 2, and then we'd visit my grandfather in Detroit, and then I want to say from like 2 to 5 is when we lived in Stuttgart, Germany.
Oh yeah, I also did Germany. So
yeah, which part? Where were you stationed?
We're Bamberg, Germany. That's all I can remember. I think I'm quite a bit older than you, actually. So like, we didn't even have a base there anymore. But I was probably 5, 6, and 7. I was in Germany. Okay, and I have really good memories of it. I enjoyed it.
It was so much fun. I mean, I don't have as many when I was in Stuttgart until I got a little older, but I was there from like 3 to 5-ish. So kindergarten, I did my first year of kindergarten and on the base in Stuttgart, and then when we moved back to Texas, when I went, and then I ended up doing kindergarten again because they were like, no, your kindergarten in Germany wasn't good enough. So, which actually worked out perfectly because it was fine.
Okay.
So then because then, I'm coming in brand new into the school and not having to make friends all over again, which is a thing in the military. It's like every time you move, it's new friends.
Starting over again.
I'll wait for this plane. I'm so sorry. This plane.
No, it's okay. It's like in the background. It's just I've got a fan.
Can't really hear it.
So yeah, no, you're good.
Okay. I know the voice actor in me is like, "Plane, hold."
Right.
But yeah, so then we moved back to El Paso when I was 5, going to be 6, and then I was there until 4th grade, so about 5 years. So a good portion of my first 10 years of life are in El Paso, and actually do still have a lot of memories from El Paso, just because it was, just a pivotal time in elementary school. We were talking about it before we got on, that, like, my mom and dad would let me walk to school when I was like 7 or 6 or something. I'm like, I would never let my kids do that now. But back then it was like, and we only had one car, and my dad would have to take it to work. So it'd be like, well, you know the way. And I would just walk to school singing to the birds, acting like I was like Dr. Doolittle and they could talk back to me.
I was, and I was like thinking video games when I was walking to school. So I would pretend my like hand was like an action character, and I would be like jumping on the sidewalk and
I
shooting
love it.
stuff. Like we are just, we had to make stuff up, right?
So we were all already like, yeah, I was already talking to creatures, which I do now, or talking as a creature,
Yeah,
which I do now.
that's
And
yeah.
yeah,
So it's like two creatures. Interesting. Okay. No,
yeah.
no, but and then you mentioned something funny for me because like again, people who probably didn't grow up in the Southwest don't realize like that there are just critters all over the place.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, so where I lived, it was basically a desert, then the main street, and then neighborhoods. And I
Mhm.
was the first street you would turn into from that main
Mm,
street. So when I walked home from school one day, I and I was telling you, like in El Paso at least, it was very like common, at least in my neighborhood, to
mhm,
have like a door, a little like square porch, and then like a
mhm.
heavy wrought iron gate with like a
Yeah.
screen.
Mhm.
Um, and it was all intricate and had like these, yeah, I don't know why, but that my Texas house, really, I remember every aspect of it for some reason, like
Mhm.
the layout, the colors.
Mhm.
I had my dad paint my childhood bedroom hot pink. He was
Oh,
like, gladly he did it.
that's funny.
We had a big backyard. My dad made a pond, and he hand built, because my dad's a carpenter, he hand built a red bridge that you could walk over the pond. He handmade our mailbox out of brick. Um, yeah, so I have so many memories of my Texas home. But I come home from school one day, and it's very hot. It's Texas. I open it, and there was a snake in my
Mm.
little, yeah, a little, I don't know, I
Right?
don't remember. It was big to me because I was little,
Yeah.
and
It's
I
probably
knew,
huge to you, right?
yeah,
Like, yeah.
but I knew my dad was home, and I don't know, I've always been kind of like this adventurous. Like even now, like when I go on vacation, I'm like, all right, are we ziplining? Are we jumping onto off of waterfalls? What are we doing? Like I love
Yeah.
like anything adrenaline related. And I'm pretty athletic. I mean, I'm older now, so sometimes I'm like,
You
oh, I
were.
can't. I was. Uh, I still try to have my movement every day, but
Mhm.
um, I I knew the front door would be unlocked, and so le- I jumped over the snake, opened the door, and rolled into the house. I was like, Dad! And I'm like,
That's
"Hey,
so
a
funny.
snake on the porch!" And he comes out, and army dad, he's like, "All right." He puts his gloves on,
Mhm.
and now I would have been like, "Dad, why don't we just,
Yeah.
put it in a bag and maybe dump it at."
Take it out to the desert.
Yeah, because it wasn't that far, but we'd still have
Yeah.
to bag it, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and so, and my dad, being the soldier
North
white boy
Carolina.
he is, took it
No.
and just chopped off his head, and I feel so
Oh,
bad now that I think about it now. I'm
yeah,
like, "I'm
no,
so
listen to that.
sorry," but it was so
Oh,
scary. He's like, "Are we eating this for dinner tonight?" I was like, "No!"
that's so funny.
Yeah, he thought he was funny. I was like, "You're not funny, Dad. That's not funny."
That's so like a '90s sitcom or something, like straight out of one. That's so funny. Yeah. No, that's wild that you saw that because I would we were about a street away from the desert, and then I'd take my bike over there all the time, but I never bumped into a snake like ever my
Yeah,
whole time there. Yeah.
I
We
think
saw,
that was my only time. Yeah,
mhm.
only time.
We had a bat once. A bat like roosted on our sill, and my dad was like, "Hey, they catch rabies. I'm gonna kill it." I was like, "Dad, no!" And then he was like, I'll give it 3 days. The third day it left. Thank
Oh,
goodness, because I would have
good.
been like, "Oh no!"
I
Also, but
know.
I mean, it was fun. It was fun. Things have changed so much, but like I
Yeah, I
totally.
haven't been back since I moved away at 4th in fourth grade because then we moved to back to Germany. We were in Kaiserslautern, and then he almost got deployed, and then it all ended, and then we moved back to Kansas for 5 years, and then to South Carolina, and then my dad retired. Well, we only lived in South Carolina for 2 months. My mom was like, "We are not going to live here," because that was very. She's like, "No, there's nothing here. It's too small. I can't do it." It just wasn't for her. So then we moved to Atlanta because she also had friends there and stuff. So that's where my mom and dad still live. They live outside of Atlanta.
Oh, that's a nice home base to have. That's a lovely city.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
haven't been back in a long time. I went back last year
Okay.
for the first time in I mean, like 10 years or something.
Yeah.
And it's changed so much even from when I was there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like she'd be like, I was like, let's go visit my old high school. She's like, okay, we better leave now. And I'm like, Mom, it's not that far from that house. She's like, no, 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 you don't understand. Traffic is crazy. And I was like, it's fine. I was like, why is it taking so long? I'd been late to school. This is insane. Like, what is happening? I was like, I was shook. I was like, this, and it looks nothing like my old high school. I was like, where are the trailers? Where are the trailers?
Yeah.
That's where I had French class. Where's my French class?
Oh my goodness.
It's all
Oh,
fancy now. So
wow. Yeah. There's speaking of your mom, the other kind of connecting thread between us is that our moms are Korean.
yeah.
And so,
So you got the dark hair. I got
yeah.
the wait.
So
What is your dad? Is he blonde hair, brunette? What's
he's blonde. So I don't,
really?
yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Well, when I was little though, my hair was your color.
Oh.
And then I think by the time I started school, it had darkened. So,
See, mine
um,
will darken in the winter
okay.
if there's a true winter. But we don't really have a true winter here, so now it's always sunny, so I
Like if
guess
you're in
that's why.
Kansas or something, maybe it would do that, right?
Yeah, like in even in Atlanta, like in winter,
Oh, yeah.
my hair would get darker and not
Okay.
as I have a lot of red because I have a lot of Scottish and Irish in me from my dad's side.
Oh.
So that's why it's kind of got this reddish hue to
You
it.
just got lucky because and that's how I feel because I look like every other Korean, right? I want to look different. But like,
No, you don't look like
no,
you
but
look awesome. You look amazing. You look like Charles.
but see, oh, thank you, I appreciate that. But my dad's got like dirty blonde hair and he's got a red beard. And
Oh,
there's Irish in
interesting.
his family too. He's got blue eyes, and I didn't get any of that stuff.
Yeah,
And
I wish I had gotten the blue eyes. I did not. Um, but my daughter and even my son, when they were born, they had really light eyes, not blue, but light. My daughter has the lightest, probably she's more hazel. But my sister, so I married, my husband's from Taiwan. But my sister's husband is a blonde hair, blue eyed boy. And her son, he actually looks almost Filipino. It's interesting. He's the darkest of all the kids. He's got like our color hair. And when he was born, we were like, Jane, whose child is this? Is this Patrick's? Because
yeah, it's like, are you sure? That's funny.
we were like, because
Hmm,
he's.
hmm.
But then when my niece was born, I was like, Jane, whose child is this? Is this yours? Because she is blonde haired, blue eyed. Like she looks, yeah, but she's quarter Korean. Yeah, you just never know what's gonna come out, and it's interesting when you see them side by side.
Yeah,
At first glance, they look different.
yeah.
Um, they don't look quote unquote related because he's darker toned and she's fairer skinned. But then you see their face and their eyes, and you're like, oh no, they're siblings. They look exactly like they're just
Mm,
slightly different. Yeah.
that's so cool. Yeah, my
Yeah.
my daughter's hair is a little bit lighter than the rest of ours, and I think she loves that she's like the
She's
little
just a little
quarter.
different.
Yeah,
Yes.
like my wife's Korean too, but the little
Okay.
quarter white shining through a little bit.
I
So,
love it. You just never know. Honestly, because my kids are 75% Asian,
mhm.
I swore they'd have dark hair too. They have my hair.
That's so funny.
My hair color gene is strong for
Yeah,
some reason.
yeah. The science worked out for you all.
Yeah.
All right.
It's weird. All the things that I used to not like growing up.
Yeah,
My hair
yeah.
color I was fine with. I loved my hair color. But like all my freckles
The
and my
freckles.
dimples, they both
Mhm.
got those as well.
Right.
But they look just like my husband. Like they are like carbon copies of my husband except for my hair, freckles, and dimples. So
They just got that added on.
at least they got that.
Well, speaking of like kind of growing up too with like these different features and all that. I mean, what was it like for you, kind of being in between those two cultures, like Korean culture and then the white culture in there? Like how for you?
I mean, I don't know how you feel growing up, but I had like And even now, I sometimes have like an identity crisis. Like, where do I fit in, right? And I talk about this. I'm very open about this, but growing up, I'd be like, well, I'm definitely not Korean enough, and I'm definitely not white enough. Where do I fit in? And that's kind of translated even to entertainment for me. It was especially for on camera. It was a big point of contention for me, at least, just because everybody was trying to put me in a box, and they all thought I was Latina anyway, so it didn't matter. Especially when I don't straighten my hair and I let it be naturally. They're like, "Oh, wait, you're not Korean." I'm like, "Well, I'm half." They're like, "No," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm pretty, yeah, actually." Or like, "White? Really? No," Um, so I did struggle a lot growing up. Unfortunately, I was not super close to my dad's side of the family. My grandfather, I mean, may he rest in peace, wasn't exactly happy that my dad married a Korean woman, to be
Oh
very
yeah,
honest.
we
So
had those issues too. So I get
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So again, may he rest in peace. So there, and also my sister and I were like the youngest of all of our cousins on our dad's side. Like when
Uh,
I was a kid, the next youngest cousin was already graduating high school. So there wasn't, yeah, so it was a huge gap, and they all lived like in Detroit, and we were traveling around so much. So we weren't really super super close to our dad's side. I mean, when we see them though, like my you know my aunt was alive, and my other aunt as well. It, they were so loving, so kind, but it wasn't like, you know, it was just like, when we see each other, we love each other kind of thing. And then on my mom's side, they were definitely, my mom's side is definitely more accepting. I actually connected more with my Korean side almost. It was one of the reasons why I took an independent study in high school and taught myself how to read and write Korean.
I
And
read that. That's so
yeah,
cool.
yeah. I mean, I need to practice some more to be faster,
So
but it
so
helps.
your mom didn't speak Korean to you growing up.
Not a lot. She did a little, and I had to ask her to, and so she would. And like, I remember the first time I said something to her, and I was like, and I didn't have a yo at the end. I said yeah, amma or something. She was like, "What? No." And I was like, and I was like, but I was so young, I didn't know. I just heard her be
Sure.
like, "Yeah, 그렇게 하면 안 돼." All this stuff. Like, "Yeah, 하지 마." And I'd be like, "Yeah, amma." And she's like, "No." And I was like, "I don't understand why." And I was so little. She's like, "That's actually very disrespectful." And
Mm,
she was teaching me all that. So she did
yeah.
teach me a lot of that
Mhm.
stuff. And she's like, when you say something, you should add yo to be respectful at the end. And I was like, oh, so then I was like, when I was younger, trying to figure out how do I add yo to the end of everything,
Mm, so
So she
different.
did, yeah, it's different. So she did teach me some, and so and ask her, and she would speak some to me. And then we did go to Korean church for a little bit, so I would learn a little bit there. But I do wish I had been more proactive in being like, Mom, I want to go to Korean school and stuff. But it's harder, especially when you're, I don't know, like on a military base. There wasn't as many, we weren't, it wasn't stable, so we moved so often. And then you know yeah, I was also just a kid, and she was like, also she was struggling with her own identity in a sense too, right? Coming from Korea, she learned how to speak English by watching soap operas every day, And so
It opened up my whole world when when I moved to Austin and
mhm.
seeing oh, my mom's experience and my experience is just weird, and not weird. Well, it's so unique, right? Kind of
Yes.
compared to the even the typical Korean immigrant experience. This is
Yeah.
something totally unique.
Yeah, it's very different. And so she was trying to be like, well, I've embraced that I've married an American man, and I want to embrace America, and you know find my place here too. So she really was trying to you know be American essentially, right? So she was struggling with that, and trying to. So she was like working on like trying to speak English as much as possible versus, and so it was like just it was just when and that's honestly, this is honestly might be the first time really thinking about that experience for her from her point of view, to be honest. um because I'm always like, why didn't you teach me more? And but also she was trying to better her English, and be accepted as a Korean woman who now lives in El Paso, Texas. You know, and so, um, but yeah, even now I struggle. Like sometimes I'm like, I'm, you know, like even when I, you know, to be honest, when I worked on, because I was on in the loop group for K-pop Demon Hunters, and I was so excited, but I was also like, because I knew I had to speak some Korean, and again, I'm very conversational. Like, you know, if it's super technical, I will struggle. I have to really practice, you know. Um, and I was like so stressed out about it, and I was like, oh my god, what if I can't do it? And then, and I got there, and like, you know, I'm like the only half Korean, and I'm like, everybody was so great though. Everyone's like, no, Jen, you'll be fine. It's fine. Like, we'll cover for you if it's super technical. I was like, please do. And it ended up being like just conversational stuff, like, let's go watch a movie, or I'm hungry, or like, did you do all your homework? You know, and I'm like, okay, I got that, you know. But it was stressed. And I was like, am I going to be good enough to do this, you know? And that's one thing I do appreciate, like Maggie Kung from, you know, who created and director and all this for K-pop Demon Hunters, how she allowed me to embrace my Korean side, and it was such a wonderful experience, and to be accepted by my peers who are so talented, and didn't bat an eye. They're like, "No, you're one of us." I mean, because that's not always something that happened. I don't know about your experience, but sometimes, um, like when I went to Korea, they'd be like, people would just come up to me when I was little and just start trying to speak English to me. But I was like
Uh,
a kid, and they'd
uh,
be like, "I love you," and I'm like, I don't know you. What's happening now, mom? And then my mom would be like, you can't talk like that. Like, use some other, will you be my friend? I'm like, I don't know you, stranger. Just randomly come up to me. But like in high school, I experienced a time where, you know, going to, I don't know how your high school experience, but moving around, the lunch time was always like the scariest time for me, because it was like,
yeah.
where do I sit? Especially when I moved to a new school. And then when my dad retired in Atlanta, I was in high school, and that was it's the hardest time, I feel like, to move. When you're little, it's easier, right?
Yeah, you'll find your group, but
Yeah, and I sat there and I was like, I don't know where to sit. And it was very different in Atlanta, because I grew up military. There's actually a lot more mixed people than people realize in the military. Everybody was just, we were just all friends with everybody, but specifically my in Atlanta, I don't think it's, I hope it's not like that anymore, but like at that time, everybody kind of sat with their groups. So, like, the Koreans would sit together, and it was just really interesting, the dynamic at that time. And again, I didn't know where to sit, and they were like, "Oh, you're half Korean, come sit with us." And then I started to realize there was a couple things that would happen. Like, they became kind of like possessive. They're like, "Oh no, you're one of us." I'm like, "Well, yeah, but I'm friends with everyone else too." Like, you know. And it was just a couple, not everyone, just like a couple people, one or two people. But then I heard one guy talking, and I was like, and he was clearly talking about me. And I didn't fully understand it. But like one of my friends was like, "You're an idiot. You know she can speak Korean, right?" And he was like, "Oh, well, whatever. I said what I said." So I kind of memorized what he said. And I told my mom, and she was so upset. And I was like, "What does it mean, mom? What does it mean?" You know, we didn't have Google Translate. She was just like, basically, they're calling me a prostitute because I married an American, and that's the only reason why I came to the U.S. And that you're the daughter of a prostitute. And I was like, "What?" I was like, "No, no, no." And I was like, I'm not gonna, like, I still had friends, you know, but that, especially that one person, I was like, no. And so I realized that sometimes that's how I'm seen. I'm a mutt. I'm tainted, and not just on that side, on both sides, right? Because it came from my grandfather too. So I know this is a long answer, but I think it's important to talk about, because I know I'm not. I've talked to other people who are mixed from all different, you know, and they feel the same. It's like there's this thing that kind of floats over our head that's like you're it's like you're a muggle or whatever, right?
Mhm,
A
mhm,
muggle who
mhm.
does magic, but it's not, you're never like truly a magician or a wizard, you know.
Yeah.
So
No, no, that's an excellent response. No, no, as you're explaining that, I'm like, yep, 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 yep. Very similar experiences, and for instance, when I was in college, I was at this, I was a leader at a church, and we took care of like these freshmen, and years later, one of the freshmen I took care of. like messaged me, and he was very aggressive, and he was saying things like my dad was a bad person for taking a Korean wife, and like all these things, right? And it was just like, oh my goodness. Like, so I'm still experiencing this kind of thing years later, where you think you wouldn't be experiencing this anymore, but you did good, by the way, because I never picked up Korean very well, and my mom also didn't, same sort of thing. She didn't speak to me in Korean very often, unless it was mad or something. And so because I
I know,
think
unless she was like that, and then the ya came out, and
right,
like
yeah, yeah, exactly. And, but I think I talked to her about this, and she thought at the time that I wasn't going to learn English because she didn't have other Korean friends at first.
yeah,
So that
it's
was her
kind of
way of
that
thinking.
too. Yeah, like you don't want your, I know my mom was thinking probably the same thing. Like you don't want your kid to go to an American school and not be able to speak English,
Mhm, mhm.
yeah.
Which now we realize, no, it's good, right? You pick up these languages, you'll get the other languages, you'll learn all that. It'll be fantastic for you. But
I
and
have
I
my
try to
daughter
warn
in Korean class once a week now. I'm like,
you.
I mean,
There you
she
go.
probably should be practicing more. She's over there playing with her volleyball, practicing more Korean every day.
It's
Gave me a dirty
some of
look.
us don't like it. I tried for years. I can read. See, I'm the opposite of you. I can read it, which is like I can read it pretty well, which is pretty useless. The conversational stuff I can't get.
Oh
It's just too
yeah.
fast for me. But the I went to Korean school when I was in high school, and that was a huge moment for me because I thought the other kids I knew that were half Korean like me, that were military brats like me, they also would be starting kind of from square one. And I realized that I was the only one. Like they grew up speaking it. I was like, oh, so I studied extra hard, which is what Koreans do, right? I was like,
Yeah.
I'll study extra hard and I'll get
Yeah.
it. But then like people would laugh at me because I didn't have the accent, right? And so that was really an eye-opening experience for me because I felt like I can move between both worlds. I sometimes went to Korean church, had some Korean friends there, and then most of my friends in school were white or Hispanic or black. Very few Asians at my school. And then at that point, I kind of started having oh, what exactly am I? What's my experience? And it doesn't bother me these days, but like I still don't feel like I belong to either world. It's
Same, same. It's like, voiceover has really allowed me to play more roles that are Korean, which has been so wonderful. Like I channel my mom all the time, and I tell her too. I'm like,
mhm.
I was just you. um, but yeah, it's interesting, like how even as an adult, it's like we have to kind of create our own category. I don't know. I was talking about it yesterday with some friends on my own podcast show, OneUp, and we were talking about like even like the check mark on the tests and stuff like that. I would be like, what? Why? Why is there an? I have to choose one, and I'd purposely be like, Caucasian and Asian, and then the other came, and I'm like, no, I'm not an other. Just gonna put me on some. And then multiracial came, and I'm like, okay, that's better at least. But yeah, it was like such a point of like, it still bothers me. I'm like, I hate having to choose,
Yeah, I was definitely in high school. I was definitely I was trying to figure that stuff out too. So I was putting different things every time. Like, what am I
Yeah,
doing?
me too.
What am I
I'd
gonna
be
do here,
like,
right?
today I feel this way.
No, exactly. And again, speaking of your identity and all that, I know that it was. I mean, I think it's been a big deal for the community in general, but for you to get the role of White Fox in Marvel Rivals, I mean, how did that? I mean, what did that mean to you to be able to win that role?
Oh, man, it was very just so amazing. I don't it's There's not a words to describe it because you know one of the things that, like, the more research I've done on her, the things that really I feel like I connect with her on is that, like, even White Fox struggles with her own identity with
Mm,
Miho in her and trying to do good. Yeah, so she struggles with her own identity, and I was like, man, I feel the same, exactly the same, like, and so I really connected with her. And then, you know, just I feel so honored that I get to be her voice, and it's just it's and even now I struggle. I'm like, am I worthy enough? Am I Korean
Oh,
enough? Like all of
yeah,
that's
yeah,
there.
yeah. Do you think your casting has resonated with other Koreans or Korean Americans?
I think so for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope that because also she's a lesser known Marvel hero, which I think Rivals has done a really great job of really highlighting you know heroes that not that aren't so mainstream. Like even Luna Snow is, she's, I would say she's obviously well more known, but not as known either. And to have her as well is amazing. And to have us together, it's one of my, are some of my favorite interactions. Like when she calls me Annie, and just like, oh, it makes me think of my sister and stuff. Cause that's, yeah. So,
So nice. No, I love that. The I'm gonna kind of change the topic a little bit and ask you about another role, which so it just kind of lined up because I'm trying to catch up with ReZero because I hear season 4 is
oh,
crazy. So
yes.
I had
Yes.
finished season 2 and I'm watching season 3 right now,
Oh
and
my
I'd say the
gosh.
character that stands out to me most is Sirius. So
What do
I
you mean? She's so chill. Why would
yeah,
she
it's
stand out?
totally normal, right? I mean, that must have been a fun role to play, though, right?
Oh man, it was so much fun. Like when I got the audition, I was like, okay, what's going on? Who is she? And I just really just sort of tapped into her because I mean, she's clearly not all there. She's clearly got issues.
Mm,
And I just sort of, I just played it, and I just like she truly believes everything she's saying is for good.
right.
It's what I went for. And
Mm,
I think, in her eyes, it truly is about love
mm,
and just you know reuniting people. And there's nothing evil about what I'm doing. If I have to hurt somebody to get what I want because of love, then it's worth it. um,
love
so
it.
that's what I channeled with her. And I mean, she's probably one of the most vocally challenging characters I've ever had to do, especially because I mean she literally goes Super Saiyan at some points.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was like, oh, because she was so like light and airy and just thank you, I'm sorry at the beginning, and then all of a sudden, what's his face shows up. My brain can't even think right now. Um, and
Uh,
she's like, or when Amelia shows up, she's just
oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, you
Yeah.
took my man. I'm like, what
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
happening? And then all of a sudden, and I was like, whoa, okay, let me prepare
Does
myself
that
for
strain, does
this.
that strain your vocal cords doing that?
It can, yeah, for sure. But everybody, we make sure to do that, as much of that towards the end of a session. Because if you think about it, when you go to a concert, you scream, and then after you come home, your voice is a little different, right? And so we made sure to do most of it at the end. And I do a lot of warm ups, a lot of like even now I have a session coming up that I'm about to do my nebulizer, and I'm drinking my tea, and I'll do my vocal warm ups and everything. So yeah, there's ways. I mean, sometimes it's unavoidable. You're still gonna have to go on vocal rest after those sessions. I had to go on vocal rest, meaning I just didn't talk to anybody for a while. I was like,
Must be nice.
sorry,
Sorry.
I can't answer you right now. Or everything was on my phone. You see, texting.
Were you familiar at all with anime before you jumped into the voice acting industry?
Yeah. So I grew up watching like Robotech with my dad. It's one of the things that we really connected on. My sister, my dad, and I really loved Robotech. I do wish I had finished like going into the next, because we watched the first installment basically, and then there's a couple more, and I wish we had. But I mean, I used to draw some of the characters, and
Oh,
yeah, I was like obsessed with Robotech. That was my jam. And then my dad, because living in the second time when we were in Germany, Kaiserslautern, at that time we only got one English speaking channel to
yeah.
watch on.
You just had the one channel. Uh huh.
Yeah. And so my dad would, like his friend, I don't remember how, but he would get these like DVDs of like different anime, and he would bring it back. And I don't remember all of them, but I would watch them and I was obsessed. I remember there was this one, I wish I could remember it. I remember the guy. He had big, bushy green hair, but he had psychic abilities. I don't know. It's an old one. I wish I knew what it was. And he could like move things with his mind and all this kind of stuff. And I would be in my room staring at a pencil. I'm like, you will move to the. And that was me. I was so obsessed.
By the way, viewers out there, this find that anime.
I
Let
know. I
Deborah know
wish
what it
it's
was.
really, really old because I was so young. Um, I don't know what it was. I just remember him having psychic abilities, and I was trying to be like him in my bedroom, just staring at a pencil, trying to move it to the other side of the table. But yeah, so I grew up watching, Robotech, and it's one of my favorite. I actually kind of want to rewatch it because it's just one of my favorites growing up. And if they ever do a remake, I would love to be in it. Um, and then I watched. I was a big Initial D fan, and Dragon Ball Z, obviously, and all of those, that was on like the Cartoon Network and all that kind of stuff. I'd watch all those, but um, my husband and I, when we were for dating, we watched Initial D together, and then we were super into cars too, so it was like perfect. So we were like, I'm like, at one point my sister, my husband, and myself all had Subarus, and we'd drive around, but we had different like versions. So my sister had a 2.5 RS, I had a WRX, and he had the STI. So we'd be a little Subi family, and we were like living our best Initial D
Oh my
life.
goodness. That's awesome. I
Yeah.
love it. It must have been pretty cool for you to then move into the industry and like voice, characters
Yeah,
and
it
stuff.
was definitely a goal of mine when I first started getting into voiceover. I was like, "Oh, I need to get into anime. How do I do this? And here's the thing, I wish I knew more about anime. I wish I knew because there's so much anime out there now, and it's so prevalent now, and I wish I knew more about the stories. But any chance I get to play in the world, it was such an honor to be in Suzume because I love Shinkai's work, and just how beautiful it was, and I got to really tap into like the mom in me, and struggling, like, one of the audition scenes is when she's like kind of has all her inner feelings get pushed to the front, and she kind of screams them at Suzume, and I'm like, as a mom, I've been there. And so yeah, like it's always so much fun to get to play. Most recently, which I haven't officially announced, but I have been announced, is I got to be in a Chinese anime. It's okay. Called The Legend of Hei 2, and I'm one of the leads, and Luye, and oh man, it's so beautiful, and it's so well, the story is amazing. Like, I highly recommend watching it. I don't have time typically to watch the projects or play the games that I'm in, but I took the time to watch that one because I was just like so intrigued by the story, and her story especially, and yeah, so yeah. And another one that I'm in that just came out is Nippon Sengoku, which is on Amazon Prime. I'm Ogawajima, and I highly recommend it. It's Each episode is only 30 minutes, but it's like the story is so compelling. It's set in like a, futuristic Japanese era, but like it's when Japan goes back to the period times. It's really, really interesting. And uh but the animation, it's so beautiful, and the music is like, it's so beautiful.
I do want to ask you about uh, um, Road to Healing because yes, I watched a little bit of it. I watched the opening episode, and I watched your episode
Oh my
playing Craig.
gosh.
Oh my gosh, it was what a fun character and what a fun episode. Like,
Yeah.
I thought it was genuinely really, really funny. And I
Oh,
wonder,
that's so wonderful. I'm so happy to hear that.
yeah, it was really that you and the gentleman in that episode had such funny chemistry. And I found the writing to be really sharp in the series. So,
Claire
this
Margaret Donovan wrote it, and she is phenomenal. She's also Maggie in there. She's the therapist. The
okay.
therapist.
Okay. Yeah. No, that
Yeah.
makes sense. It's so great. Oh my gosh, brings
Yeah.
such a fun energy to it. Does it like scratch a different like creative itch when you do like live action as opposed to your voice acting?
Yes. Yes. I haven't actually done on camera in a while because voiceover just sort of just took over. The next closest thing would be when I do like performance capture for video games. I get to be in my body and stuff, but it's still it's for the camera, but as a character, right? Um, but so when I was offered Prince, it was actually so what actually happened is, so if you watch the series, there is the race car driver or the stunt car driver, Matisha Baldwin, and her character is her actual character's name is Jennifer. So that was very confusing on set. They'd be like, Jennifer, what? No, that okay, real Jen or fake Jen? So basically Claire wrote the series, and then Max, her brother, Maxwell AC Donovan, um, co-directed it. Maxwell was on like that '90s show, The Better Sister, and then Claire has been more on the writing side, and then this is like her way to kind of break into writing and also acting as well. And so they wrote the series with a lot of their friends in mind. So all the people, she pretty much wrote the roles for very specific, for all the people that are in there. Those are all their friends. They're all such wonderful, and they're so freaking talented, and just really good people. And so Kyle Secor, who was Bilious and who I got to work with, Kyle, first of all, is such a seasoned actor. Like when I found out I was working with him, because so he was on Homicide,
Okay.
like which is
Yeah.
really like a long time ago.
Yeah, well, a huge award-winning series back in the 90s.
Yes, yes, yes. I mean, it was huge, right? But I was like fangirling. I didn't tell him, but I was like, because he was also Duncan Kane's dad, Jake Kane, in Veronica Mars, and I'm a huge Veronica Mars.
That's awesome.
So I was like, oh my God, I'm working with Jake Kane. But originally, his wife was supposed to be Prince. And then a conflict came up, and so she wasn't able to do it. And so they were like, who are we going to get to do this? And at the time, I was actually um, I was filming in Vancouver on a video game. I was doing performance capture up in Vancouver. And Matisha goes, hey, I recommended you for this series that I'm doing with Max and Claire, and I think they're going to reach out to you. So they looked me up. They're like, oh yeah, okay, let's have her. So they kind of took a leap of faith on me because I hadn't done on camera in several years because COVID, and then the strike, and then just voiceover and video games and performance capture just sort of took over. So I just didn't have the time. But it sort of worked out. So basically, they reached out to me. I'm heading to the airport to go to Vancouver. I'm like, cool, yeah, I can do this. I do it. I get all the scenes. It's 8 episodes. I'm reading them on the plane back to LA. And I was like I flew back in, like, I want to say, like, I'm making these up, but like on a Thursday or like on a Saturday, and then I had a day off, and then we were filming like on Monday or something. So I didn't have a lot of time. So I literally came from Vancouver, the airport, home, and then went straight to set, and then was there filming and for several days. So again, she wrote this with, Kyle's wife in mind. And so when I came, I didn't really know that. So I just came with my interpretation of Prince, and they were like, this is great. And then our episode when I met Kyle, an affair of the heart. Um, um, I was just like, listen, I'm here to, I'll just follow you, like he's like, do you want to rehearse? I was like, I'm not really big into rehearsing. I'd rather kind of see what we do. We could do one if you want. And he was like, no, I think we're good. I think we'll be fine. I'm like, okay, great. So we just we had some ideas. We did talk through some things. He's like, like maybe I might do something like this. And I'm like, okay, cool. I was like, I'll just follow you. And so in the scene where we meet, I really did kind of almost fall off the step. I really struggled with putting on my little, there's a part where I'm struggling to get my little sweater. That was real life. I was really, really struggling trying to get that on. The one thing we did kind of talk about was like us, like kind of being like awkward, like, get, and, get the door was like, he was like, and I was like, okay, that was, and then after that, it was so much improv. Like the whole like, fly, kill, and me jumping up and
Yeah,
trying to. That
yeah.
was. I had no idea I was going to do that. It just happened. I had no clue that was
Made
going
the
to
trailer.
happen. It did. It did, because everyone was just like, "What just happened?" One time we did a take, I almost fell into the bushes. It was just insane. And then, you know, again, because Kyle's like, it was supposed to be with his wife in the car, it goes a certain direction. And he was like, "I don't know if we, what, I don't know if she'll," and I'm like, "Look, I'm comfortable with whatever you want to do." And then just that mayhem happened, and I didn't even know it was going to go there, and I was like, "Okay, well, we're going for it." And it was just so much fun. I had so much fun. It's such a well written series, like you said. It's very sharp writing, and it's I think it's funny. I think everybody killed it too. Every single person killed it.
Really great. Like yeah, your episode especially was so. I mean, it's just I don't know
So
how to describe
unhinged.
it. Yeah, there's like this awkward, quirky energy between you both. Like I've never seen that. I've never seen like
Yeah.
it's totally unique to me. Like the
Yeah.
relationship that you both have in it. It was so much fun. So I definitely recommend people go watch it. We'll link it too. But they're like
Yeah, I mean, the episodes
so
are so short. It's short form content, so it's 8 episodes in season 1, and each of them are, like, 8 minutes or less.
hmm And
Yeah, so you can watch
the
the whole
characters
thing in
are
an
so much
hour.
fun. Characters are
Yeah,
so much fun. Actors are so much fun. It's a cool show.
it is. It is such a
Um,
fun show.
I do want to ask you a couple more questions before I let you go.
Sure.
You had already mentioned OneUp before, so why don't you
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about it and what you've been doing with that series?
Yeah, so OneUp is so it started because my co-host and one of my best friends, Courtney Lynn, who's another super super talented actress, we created a e-course for to help people learn the art of voiceover and the business of voiceover, as well as vocal health and all of that stuff. And we were like, you know, because we're so busy, we were like, how do we get people to know that we are legit, that we know what we're talking about, and also continue to bring a wealth of information to people that maybe are looking into getting into acting in general, or entertainment. I would say entertainment in general. So that's how it sort of birthed from School of Voiceover, and then that's how One Up was birthed. And then it just became an extension of our mission of giving more than we receive, and giving back to the community, and giving, especially because we both had to start somewhere, and both of us started with no guidance, essentially. Like we had some people helping us, but there was a lot of things that we had to just throw spaghetti at the wall to see what stuck and what worked and what didn't. And our goal is to try to help people find what works quicker for them. It's not going to be the same for what worked for me and what worked for Courtney. It's your journey. And so when we created One Up, it was an opportunity for us to play some games, and then also highlight everybody's journey in entertainment. And so, obviously, we have so many friends who are super successful voice actors, but we also have friends who are, like Alice Bistreski, who's a circuit, he's a circus performer. So we had him coming on because there's a lot of people that are, may want to learn about that. We've had this season, we have a game composer that's been on, that we're going to be releasing soon. We've had a rapper that became an alternative singer. We've had Jamie Ray Newman, who is on The Hunting Wives, come on. She's a good friend of mine. So yeah, we just really wanted to provide a way to highlight people we know and love, and meet new people, and you know give back to the community. Like, some of my favorite episodes are like Morla Gorondona, who's a prolific actress, and her journey to get to where she is now. Like, she was Eris Morn in the Destiny series. She's literally everywhere. She's so fantastic. I love her to pieces. Her journey into getting to where she is now is not a traditional journey, and I always recommend people watching her episode, because it's a unique take on how she saw the industry, how she saw acting, and how she saw her path to get to where she is now. We've had casting directors. So it's just people from all facets of entertainment sharing their journey and dropping so many like wisdom bombs everywhere. Like just Julia Bianco, who's a casting director and the COO of Help Network, just so much wisdom and knowledge. Khalil Bogdanov, who's he's one of the directors on Wolverine, like just so much information. His writing partner, Adrienne Arno, like she started as a criminal psychologist and now she's writing and she pulls from that. You know what I mean? So it's just so interesting to meet all these different people and to share their stories and their journey and hopefully inspire others that may be looking, that want to be a director. Great. Go watch Cal, and we have another director that's going to be featured this season too. So
I love
yeah,
that. Bringing people in from different parts of the sphere and getting their experience
yeah,
out there for everyone and their stories and then how that might feed into what you're doing as well as a
yeah.
viewer.
I mean, I look, it's the fun part about OneUp is like, I know a lot of these people, or I've worked with them, but I don't necessarily know their background, their history.
Mhm.
And so, like, I'm excited to share. We have a guest coming up that we filmed yesterday, and he started off in as a dancer, and then musical theater, and then an actor, and then a director for dubbing, and now he's writing and directing and producing his own feature films. It's like, how did you go from here to here? This whole like huge arc, and it's so interesting. And I just hope that it encourages people, um, just like what you're doing. Like you're talking to different people, and I hope these interviews encourage people to know that they can follow their hearts and their dreams, and it's not going to be a linear thing. It's not going to be like a straight road. You're going to be bouncing all over the place, and you're going to
Mhm.
learn things from those experiences, and the key is to continue to grow from those experiences.
Absolutely. I love that. I, I, it's time for us to kind of close the episode. So I've got one more question for you, and it's a question I've been using for a lot of the interviews lately, which is that if you now could talk to younger Jennifer, maybe from El Paso, what would you tell her?
um I would tell baby Jen to, because baby Jen was actually very shy. I was actually a very shy kid. Public speaking was terrifying, like meeting new people. It was always, I think it's part of it is because of moving around so much. It took a lot of toll on, me as a kid to like have to start over and make new friends. And am I going to be able to make a good, like who are my people, like where do I fit? Also, it was very, um, like emotionally draining for me. But I would tell baby Jen that it's going to be okay. You're going to thrive, and to not hold back as much, to like just go for it. If you want to like sing, go sing, like even, like in college, it was like I went to college. I was like, I need to get an electrical engineering degree, but it wasn't my passion. I mean, I don't even use it, and I'm like, I would, I would just be like, just go for it. you know, what do you have to lose? Just go for it. People say no. Okay, then move on to the next one. I think the power of no and rejection is so limiting. And I think that we have to, the big thing that that we hear a lot is like, it's okay to fail. It's okay to fail. It's a matter of what do you do after when you fail? Do you stay there or do you learn and grow, right? And so that's what I would say. So
That's
it's
great
something that I
advice.
try to teach my kids and encourage them to,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
yeah,
no, we do something similar here because I had a big fear of failure and
yeah.
worries about how life was going to be like, and tell our kids just do it. It's okay. Go ahead and fail.
Yeah, it's
You're going to learn.
okay.
It's going to be
No,
great.
what, people laugh at you? Okay. Well,
Yeah,
guess what? Done. Like move on. Like, you can't control people. You can only control what's going on with you. So,
No, absolutely. And
Yeah.
thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Oh
You
my God.
dropped some wisdom bombs too today, so I
Oh
appreciate
gosh, I hope
it.
so. I hope so.
Yeah,
That's always been my goal. I always want to like give back as much as I can.
love it. And for everyone out there, please follow Jennifer. She's on Instagram at
Yay.
Jennifer Sunbell. Same thing on Twitter.
Yeah.
Mentioned voice acting classes, schoolofvo.com.
Yeah.
One Up with Jen and Courtney on YouTube. Follow them, and then you're on Spotify too. I was listening to Golden. That was
Oh
really
my gosh,
great.
yes.
Got a
Thank
good
you.
cover.
I know. I have more music I need to actually release.
So many
Yeah.
things. So
Blank.
anyway,
Oh my gosh, my dog's now he's trying to chew an umbrella up. Oh my god.
well, we
Welcome
better let
to
you
my chaotic life.
know. Well, thank you so much for taking the time,
Thank
regardless of all
you.
that, and thank you everyone out there for joining us. We
Yes.
appreciate you, and yeah, follow please, and thank you so much. Take care, everyone. We'll see you.
Bye.
That was so much fun. I hope you all enjoyed that. Yeah, I mean, there's a touch of real life there, right? Family running around, dog running around. That's that's how it is when you have a family and then you're balancing that with work and all that. Some of you know that, some of you will have that one day, so that was fun. But I really love the beginning of the conversation, especially where Jen talked about her experiences growing up kind of between two cultures, and many of you may be kind of experiencing the same. I told her after we got off the interview, but like all those things, I just so many mirrored points for me too. I just went, oh yeah, that, and it shapes who you become. It shapes who you want to be. It hurts you sometimes, helps you be resilient too. Just growing up between those two cultures, growing up as a military brat, some people will also understand that. That's a little bit different as well. And then experiencing that racism as well. There are a lot of times where I experienced that growing up from family sometimes, but mostly outside of that as well. And that shapes who you become and what you want to do with others too, and how you want to help others maybe not go through that or rise above it as well, and how you would like to see the culture go too. So um, I hope you enjoyed that. I had a really great time connecting with Jen. I hope you enjoyed her as well. Check out all her stuff out there. And thank you again for tuning in to Something Genuine. We really appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. So take care, everyone. God bless, and we'll see you next time.